If you buy the cheapest case of lettuce and you throw away 20% of that lettuce, it's no longer the cheapest case of lettuce.
Guest, you've heard us refer to him many times on reservations. We have Marcus Guiliano, who is an author, chef, restaurant consultant, and all-around great guy who can help you if you're a restaurant owner, take your business to another level, or sometimes get you out of the trenches. Marcus, welcome.
Hello, thank you. Glad to be here.
When you're talking about being a marketing maniac, how much of your time after you've committed to saying, hey, I'm going to provide good food, I'm going to provide good service, percentage-wise, how much of that time should be spent on marketing? Or you as the chef, are you really the one that should be doing the marketing?
Great questions, right? Fantastic questions. So I love marketing. I have a passion for marketing as well as cooking. But a lot of restaurant owners don't have that passion for marketing. They just want to cook good food. Leave them alone when it comes to posting something on Facebook, sending an email campaign out. Leave them alone for that. So those kind of chefs, which are the majority of the chefs out there, need to delegate that out, either to somebody in-house, which you need to be able to monitor them and have the skills to understand what they're doing, or else they're not going to be doing the job correctly, or you need to hire an agency and work with somebody who is a professional and understands what they're doing with that. Because I've been doing Facebook for 9 years, since 2009. I've been on YouTube since 2009, and I still learn things constantly. I watch your program, I learn something. I watch Ty Lopez, I learn something. I take a course, I learn something. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just did my last post totally wrong. And this is my passion, and I'm into it, and I help other restaurateurs do this. So unless you're dedicated to this, and it changes so quick, and we've talked about this before, Jeff, bots are here today, but what's after bots? And 2 years ago, what were we doing before bots? And as a chef, there's a challenge of staying up with what the trends are. Staying in touch with the trends of food is a challenge. Going to food shows. And so trying to stay in both is a challenge for most restaurateurs, and they drop the ball somewhere. They can't keep juggling marketing and cooking, marketing and cooking, marketing and cooking. So they have to at some point delegate that out. I don't do all my own posts. I'd be crazy to do all my own posts. I have a great support team that helps me do that. So as far as how much time do I spend on marketing, I direct my marketing. I express what I want in marketing. I might take the picture. I might say the premise of it. But from there on, it goes into the hands of other people that then craft my message and make sure I have the right hashtags and make sure it's going out at the proper time, right? So they analyze the analytics and make sure they're posting something when I have high volume or posting it before I have high volume, so then I can catch the wave. And a lot of restaurateurs, a lot of chefs will be like, oh my gosh, Marcus, you just lost me. You totally just lost me. And that's what happens. They're lost, and one of the most common things I hear from other restaurant owners and other chefs is Facebook doesn't work. Facebook ads don't work. And I simply say, no, you don't know how to work the system. You don't know how to work Facebook ads. You don't know how to, and they're like, well, what do you mean? I post away and I throw money on it and I'm wasting money. I'm like, you're boosting a post. Boosting a post is not marketing. Boosting a post is saying, okay, I'm going to throw $10 on a post and see where it goes and, throw some cards in the air. That's not the way you market. And when I start talking about blind posting and lookalike audiences and the pixel, they just start scratching their head and they're like, well, I'm not a web designer. I'm like, I know you're not a web designer. That's why you need somebody to actually help you. So in my case, I like to be involved, and I think it's important for every restaurateur to be involved and make sure that, hey, you're approving your post and that the agency you're working with understands your vision. It's super important to understand your vision and what you're doing so they're not misleading people. And there's a lot of, as you probably know, Jeff, there's a lot of bad agencies out there. There's people that'll charge you a couple $100 a month and just post stuff away. And you have people that are like responding and this agency is not responding to them. There's people that want to make reservations. There's nobody answering messages. There's people leaving reviews, and once a week they go through and manage the reviews. And I'm like, the reason why social media is so successful is because it's instant gratification. People want to know instantly that they're being heard, that they can be answered to. And if your agency is not doing that, if your staff's not doing that, if you're not doing that, I don't blame you if you're not doing it, because you're in the kitchen cooking. You're managing a restaurant. You're managing staff, or you're babysitting staff nowadays, it seems like. So you don't have time to do all that. So you really need a strong support team in place. So for me, I like to spend an hour, 2 hours a day making sure I know everything's right. But that, I'm a little obsessive with that because I like that and that's my passion. But an average restaurateur should not have to spend that kind of time a day if they're delegating it out to the proper person or agency.
So I just want to ask you a question about that. You talk about an agency. So many restaurants that I know will often have a staff member fall into that marketing role because, hey, they know the restaurant, they know the customers, they know our vibe. We'll just get Johnny, who's the barman during the week, to do some posts and to do our social media for us. What do you say to people who are taking that cheap route, if you like, that easy route or that non-advised route?
So, first of all, what is the objective here, right? What is the objective? What's Johnny going to do for you? Is Johnny going to build your database? Does Johnny know how to build your database? Does Johnny know? I mean, let's face it. Johnny's been posting on Facebook because that's all he knows, right? That's his thing. And a lot of restaurant owners think, well, I have a college kid, I have a high school kid, and they're whizzes on this. They're whizzes at hitting keys and posting pictures, but they're not a whiz at strategy. And strategy is the thing that lacks. You just can't post away useless stuff. It's better not to post than to post something useless. So Johnny may be qualified, but I typically find that those Johnnies are not the qualified person. They're not the ones that have taken these marketing courses, that have gone through, the Facebook ads courses, have understand Google Analytics. They couldn't even understand what Google Analytics looks like, or relevancy, or sometimes frequency of an ad. They wouldn't even know where to find that. So once you start talking to these restaurant owners, you totally lose them. And like, well, Johnny is great for $200 a month, $300 a month, but what you really need is somebody who's going to build you a strategy. And this is what we're going to gain from the strategy. We're going to gain 500 new people in your database, 200 new people in your database every month. We're going to target people's birthdays. We're going to retarget people. And everything we boost on a post is people who are not in your fan page. The organic posts reach our fan page. The boosted posts reach new people. They reach people that are going to bring us into now your funnel, into your database, into things like that. And this is what Johnny typically doesn't know how to do any of this kind of stuff. And I don't blame Johnny, and I don't blame the restaurant owner. But you get what you pay for. That's the first thing I learned in business. You get what you pay for. If you buy the cheapest case of lettuce and you throw away 20% of that lettuce, it's no longer the cheapest case of lettuce. So there's a reason why certain things cost more in business. And it's just like fish. If you buy fish that doesn't meet your expectation and you have to throw away the fish, you've wasted so much money. And a fish vendor actually taught me that way back in the beginning, because you need to know when the fish was caught, how it was caught, where it was caught, and all this kind of stuff. And if you're buying from somebody who doesn't know any of that, you're going to pay less. But now if you're paying more is really paying less, is the bottom line. And a lot of restaurateurs need to understand that, but we're stuck. I'm stuck in that mentality too sometimes, because I'm looking and trying to balance my checkbook, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my bank account cash flow's low right now. How can I get away with spending less money? Am I going to buy? Here's a great example. Am I going to buy a bottle? Am I going to buy wine, for wine by the glass? Am I going to pay $2-3 less a bottle and save 25 or 36 bucks a case to put a wine by the glass on? But if it's an inferior wine, my guest is not having 2 glasses, they're only having 1 glass. So I'm actually losing money because I'm losing sales. Put a better quality of product in place, let them drink 2 glasses, enjoy the second glass, as opposed to saying, this was nothing special and I don't want a second glass. And restaurateurs are stuck in this mentality of like, oh, I'm going to save 36 bucks, but they never look at, well, I'm going to lose $144 because I'm not going to sell as much wine because it's a bad product.